Alana, welcome to the Introbiz Global Summit. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Tracy. I'm doing great. It's great to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm with the wonderful Alana Demartini, who is John Demartini's daughter. It's great to have you here. And wow, is she a powerhouse? I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about Alana. She is a very sought after, globally recognized professional educator and consultant on human behavior, personal development, and entrepreneurship. As an educator, she has presented numerous courses covering multiple aspects of human values and personal transformation, and helped empower and inspire the lives of thousands of individuals and entrepreneurs. As the acting manager of the North American division of the Demartini Institute, a private research and education organization, she has worked in client relations, team management, and problem solving. She facilitates and teaches the Demartini Institute's signature program, the Breakthrough Experience. She has consulted, taught, and facilitated thousands of individuals, entrepreneurs, and organizations using the trademarked Demartini method and the Demartini value determination and Demartini value applications. Wow, there's so many, which are the culmination of 48 years of cross-disciplinary research and study by Dr. John Demartini, her father. Her educational background was specialized in behavioral science and human communication. She is a master certified Demartini method and values facilitator. She is dedicated to maximizing human awareness and potential and igniting authentic missions and visions for individuals and entrepreneurs. She travels close to 150 days a year, when we're not in COVID, of course, to countries all over the globe, sharing her practical insights, principles, and methods with entrepreneurs from most markets and sectors. Her home base and office headquarters is in Houston, Texas, a lovely part of the world where I've actually been. So great to have you here, Alana. Thank you so much for taking up your time. I know you're a very busy lady, but obviously at the moment, we're not going to be doing a lot of traveling, are we? So how are you finding things at the moment? You know, what's been happening in your world the last few months since we last spoke?
Well, it's been interesting. John and I were on the road so much, 150 to 180 days a year. And the last year being in our hometown, presenting online has actually been quite amazing. I think we've been able to reach more people and more directly and in quite an interactive and engaging way than ever before. So even though there's been some lovely challenges and hiccups of learning the technology and adapting to it, we have really stepped into this is a new way we get to serve and connect on a global scale, not just having to go, and we get to now zoom into people's rooms and connect with them directly. So it's been a learning curve, and it's been really inspiring to see that it's opened the doors and provided opportunities at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. And I remember when we first went into lockdown last March, and, a lot of people there was a lot of negativity. There was a lot of comments put up on Facebook. There was a lot of concerns and people saying, oh my God, working from home, and that, they didn't know what the future held, and I was counteracting that by putting up lots of live videos saying, guys, you're going to love working from home, and I was looking at all the positives saying, you're going to save money on travel. You're going to save time. You're going to spend more quality time with your family. This is going to be a new way of working. And I said, you're going to come through the other side and it's going to be incredible. And I think for Introbiz, that's exactly what's happened for us because, nobody could have predicted this, working from home and, although I've done it for many years on and off. But I think, it's just a smart way of working now. And as you quite rightly said, we reach more people. And whereas Introbiz used to be local, now we're a global business because we're, again, like yourselves, we've reached a lot more people and, taken people online. So going forward, online is definitely the way forward for us, as well as offline, of course, when we get out of lockdown, because, let's be honest, a lot of people, including myself, we're missing that human connection, and like you said, you love human connection as well. So what have you, obviously we've served more people, but what have you missed about doing the face-to-face events, although I know you've embraced, obviously, the online world?
Well, we have an incredible program, the signature program that I incredibly enjoy and love and co-present, and that's been an in-person program since I was a kid. And one of the things that is incredibly inspiring about that program is the live interaction with like-minded individuals, and it is that physical contact, it is that being and getting to know them and just connecting with them. So it is that physical interaction that I'm really looking forward to. And it's also getting to be and connect to somebody while they're learning something new, breaking through something that's been really challenging, even though on Zoom has been quite amazing for us to interact globally and has allowed us to adapt and not be antiquated in certain ways or in technology. We're still really inspired and kind of looking forward and itching for that human physical hugs, connection, literally just getting to embrace and getting to travel again. I think one of the things we love is learning different perspectives, different cultures, different ideas and innovations from all over the world. So when you fly into a new country or new state, you get to experience that. And I think that's something that I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for my father, but for me, I'm really looking forward to getting to hug some people, getting to connect with some people, getting to eat food with them again, and just connect and ask questions and get to travel to some places I've been maybe before and new places to get into that culture, to get into that energy. And I'm really looking forward to that again. And it feels like it's coming up again. It feels like we're getting a little closer. I know in Texas, we have a few things that are open, moving. So it looks like we'll be able to start doing more in-person programs and get that connection and get that cultural experience going again.
Oh, I know, it's amazing. And, you know, I love the face-to-face events. So we're going to obviously, once they start, but it's like, you know, are we going to be able to hug straight away? I don't think we are we? You know, and
I'm not sure. Some people may, some people won't. And that's okay. I think just getting to be in the same space, even if there needs to be a 6-foot difference, I think I'm okay with that, as long as I get to know that I can throw some energy your way and connect with you, or at least be in the same space to some degree. And just getting to have those experiences again, where you go to new places and you try something or you learn something new. So I'm looking forward to that again. And I think many of our students are itching and looking forward to that live interaction again. And we are more than happy to adapt to whatever's needed for that environment to be smooth and productive and inspiring to be in. We'll adapt.
Yeah, absolutely. So just tell everybody, you know, obviously, you know, John, we've had him on our platform before. He's an amazing human being, your dad. You must be so proud of him. But obviously, you've done a lot in your own space as well. You know, your dad's an incredible entrepreneur and educator. But obviously, you followed in his footsteps and you've obviously got good genes. But just tell us, where did it all start for you? You know, what was it like growing up with John, and you know, where did your career start?
So, you know, I was just asked that the other day, and I really love that question because it goes as far back for me as probably the age of 12. I started having some lovely challenges and experiences that I didn't know how to process. I didn't understand. They were quite scary, quite confusing, and they were creating and manifesting symptoms in the body and just overall challenges in a day-to-day that I just didn't know how to process. And I remember sharing and asking my dad, and many of the same solutions he provided were these quality questions and these principles and information. And so I got a taste at 12. But of course, as the daughter and rebellious as I was, I didn't dive in fully. I had to get another need going, apparently. And then I'd say at 17, I had some lovely experiences where some friends were not doing so great, and I got to be exposed to my first real grief and loss of some loved ones, and got to help some of my own friends overcome that grief with my father's grief process. So at 17, I got exposed to the power of quality questions as it applies to grief, how that can really serve. And so that was what I got to experience for myself, was now applying that and then helping others at 17. And then I'd say the big aha for me was 2008, when he invited me onto the training program, and I got to see live for myself the power of the method and the application of all of his knowledge. And I got to see him transform people's lives. And I was like, crap, that's cool. I want to figure that out. And really? I dove in. And growing up with him was a constant support and challenge, a lovely experience of education. Everything with John was about learning. And it was learning how to empower yourself, or learning why you're doing the things you're doing, or learning how to communicate with people, or learning how to understand and read someone, to show the respect and give space. Everything was about learning, because he said to me when I was quite young and stated that someone very important said this to him, and that there were two things in this world that nobody could ever take away from you. And that was the love of wisdom and the wisdom of love. And so I think from my very early child to now 36 years old, he has installed and helped incorporate those principles and that philosophy in my life. And it's been a lovely ride. And he's probably one of my most favorite people on this planet. He's brilliant in the way he's taken principles and created applications and modalities that actually help us apply it and get results and measure it and empower from it. And that actually is something I want to continue to do and continue to create for others. And I'm grateful that at a very, very young age, he helped install that, and not even physically being around to do it, but also providing opportunities and education and ways for me to become independent and learn for myself and innovate for myself. And it was quite remarkable growing up with him. And I'm quite grateful that now we have such a cool connection, but I'm also just as grateful that he gave me the space growing up to figure myself out and to learn everything and do everything that I could as I would love to. And I'm really grateful for him for that.
Yeah, he is. He's, I remember Paul saying, he said he's probably the most intelligent man he's ever listened to. And he is just so inspiring. And, as I say, you must have, learned so much from him. So at what age did you start? Obviously, you said at 17 was your light bulb moment. So did you start working for him at 17, or did you go to college and work for him?
My first ever real job was when I was 14, and it was taking pictures of the books of wealth. So my father had the collection from Hubert Howe Bancroft, and these are incredible collections of 2,000 of the wealthiest individuals from the last 200 years and beyond, actually 2,000 years. And there are the commonalities to them. So my first job was to photograph these for the archives, and so that he could keep that in his library and in his study for further study and research. So that was my first job. But I didn't dive in fully and embrace the work and apply it until 2008. So I first started coming in, just learning it, becoming a facilitator, starting to apply it really just to empower myself. Then I got more involved in kind of the operations. Then I got more involved in lead generation. Then I was really into the consulting, really into the facilitating, really got into empowering entrepreneurs. And then probably about 6-7 years ago, dove in as acting manager, speaker, and teacher, and have just done what I can to continue to empower myself, to exemplify for others, and keep maximizing potential for others.
Amazing. So have you read all of his books?
I have. Now, I have not fully read. There is a Illusional Basis for Man's Health book that he wrote, I think when he was 24. I could be incorrect on the age, but I have attempted to go through that many times, and I don't perceive I'm comprehending it. So I can't say that I've read that book fully, but all of the published books I have read, and I'm working through his advanced manuscripts. I've not completed those.
Oh my gosh. And there must be loads of those, is there?
76 courses. And 76 courses. That man could speak and teach 16 hours a day for 365 days and beyond, for sure.
Oh, so how many hours is 76 courses? So how many hours is it per course?
Ooh, so it depends on the course. We have a Prophecy 1 course that is, I think, over 190 hours.
What?
And 7 days where we go over the empowerment in all 7 areas. So we address mental development, physical development, spiritual development. We spend 7 days, 14 to 16 hours a day, diving into some of the most incredible principles in each area. And we do it as a team. And he could keep going. We're usually the ones who, okay, John, we're going to get some sleep, right? We get to come back tomorrow, right? And he's like, okay, need some sleep, that's fine. But he'd keep going if we'd let him.
Does he sleep much then, or is he the type of entrepreneur that sleeps for 2 or 3 hours and he's done?
I think he did that 30 years. Now I think that he would say he probably requires more like 4 to 6 now. I can't see him more than 6, but I think he's on average about 4 to 6.
I'm about 7 to 8. I don't know about you.
Right now, and maybe it's because I'm I get to be on the programs and I'm speaking and teaching so much on so many different time zones that I'm in the 4 to 6 right now. And what I've understood is if you have structured your values and that day is filled with those high priority actions, you don't need as much sleep. If it's filled with the low priority distractions, that energy will be needed. But if it's the high priority values, there's an energy there and there's an enthusiasm there. So you can kind of go and with a little less, but anything less than 4 and my body gives me feedback. She's like, no, you're fooling yourself. So I'm a definite 4 to 6. 7 or 8 is nice, but I'm great at 4 to 6. Anything less, I get feedback in the body.
Oh my God, no, I'm definitely, if anyone would say anything, I'm a 7-hour girl, need it. I am full on, I don't mind doing, I can do really long days.
Yeah.
I've been working most of the day. I took the dogs for a walk on the beach this afternoon with my son. He's gone back now, but he's gone back home to his place because he's working tonight in London. But yeah, he, as I say, I do need my sleep, but then once I'm, rejuvenated, I can go all day then, But so what does Alana like to do for obviously relaxing time? Because it sounds like you're really full on with your dad. What do you like to do to relax?
Well, I do love to read. I have an incredible love of knowledge. So if I'm not reading, then I'm going to watch something that I can absorb some incredible knowledge or learn something new. I have an amazing partner. And so I like to spend time with him, whether that's eating out or learning together or just connecting on the couch. I also have an amazing family. So I spend time with my sister who's about to have a baby. So I'm going to be an aunt again. And
Nice.
So family is a high value. So I get to hang out with them. And then I love to go out and hike. Anytime I can be outside, if it's nice, and go immerse myself in some cool environment of that nature, I will to the best of my ability. So I'd say reading, writing, kind of learning and studying, hanging with families and some loved ones. And
exactly the same as me.
Yeah,
I'm reading a book at the moment, Entrepreneurial Leap by Gino Wickman.
Oh, I haven't read that. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's really good. And I read his book a few weeks ago called Traction, which is all about systems and processes. That's a really good book. And in fact, that should be a Bible for people. But anyway, less of Gino Wickman, all about obviously yourself. So you've read a lot of books. Do you, have you got any, favorites, because obviously one of my favorites is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Sharon Lecter, my business mentor, and Think and Grow Rich as well by Napoleon Hill. So what would you say your favorites are, apart from your dad's, I'm sure?
I do love the Think and Grow Rich. I really do find that I think there's some incredibly practical principles. Believe it or not, my father exposed me to a series that's been quite interesting and incredible to read called the Centopicon. And so diving into those 2 volumes has been a stretch for me, but incredible knowledge, classic knowledge to even some of the modern pieces. I just recently did The Denial of Death by Ernest Becker. Incredible information. I'd say that we have some really cool classics that are probably still my favorites. And I love the Canterbury Tales, the Greek. So I'm a poet too. I love the Dante's Inferno, any Dante Alighieri.
Oh, really?
Yeah, philosophy, poetry, and anything that can maximize business and human potential, I'm there. And so
Wow.
I can't say I've got a favorite. There's quite a few.
Yeah, exactly. And I know I love my books, and I've just ordered a new bookcase, which is behind me. But yeah, I love to, and I've got another 2 books came today, and I've got another one on the way as well. So yeah, it's all exciting stuff. As I say, I love to read because I always say knowledge is power, but only if you do something with that knowledge, isn't it? And this is what I think a lot of people make that mistake. They say knowledge is power, but I always say no. It's only powerful if you do something with the knowledge that you've applied,
Right.
and learn. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
and I agree with that. And I think that's there's a lovely principle that I was quite exposed to at a young age from my father, but many speakers and teachers and incredible philosophers have talked about some of the commonalities. And one of the things we know is there's 6 S's to leadership, right? And it's that ability to serve. and that inspired service, the ability to sell a concept or idea by establishing a need. It's having specialized knowledge and being able to apply that specialized knowledge, not just acquiring it, but as you beautifully stated, applying it and structuring it and being able to speak and articulate about it, and then being able to save and continue serving. And so I think it goes right back to, if you have the specialized knowledge, structuring it and doing something quite inspiring and profound makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we've made, I mean, like in my business, I've made so many mistakes and I've learned so much over the years from those mistakes, because I always say to my team, I don't mind you making a mistake as long as you learn from them and not keep making the same one. Then we'll need another conversation, but everyone is human. So, and as I say, I've made many. What would you say the biggest mistake you've made in your career, and how did you overcome it, and what did you learn from it?
Well, and that's what's really important is I can't say that I would call it a mistake. As you beautifully said, I'd say it's more the lesson, right? The feedback or the lesson. And
Yes.
I think one of the biggest lessons that I've experienced, I think many times, because I may have not got it the first time, was delegating and learning to understand that you don't have to do it all, and that there
Yes.
are incredible human beings that love to do even things you may not like to do. They're specialized in it, they like to do it, or they've understand how it can serve enough, well, they'll tackle it where you won't. So where I've seen CEOs, consultants, even individuals doing incredible podcasts get stuck or plateau in their business or feel overwhelmed in their business, is attempting to do it all, or attempting to do the low priority aspects that lower their self-worth, drain their energy, keep them from being focused or present on the really high priority things. So I think knowing what you're truly intrinsically dedicated to and activating that inspired service and then structuring it so you can delegate the rest is probably one of the biggest, most impactful, sustainable pieces you can implement into your career, even as a coach or consultant, because I have met some of the most incredible coaches and consultants who plateau in their business, or they're not making enough money, or they're like, I'm just not getting the clients, because they're trapped doing those low priority, uninspired tasks, and not able to focus on the high priority, energizing tasks. And they think, I'm supposed to do it all. I have to do it all. I can't afford to delegate. In my observation, you actually can't afford not to, because you will guarantee that you will not expand or go beyond a certain level if you don't. So the lesson that I have myself experienced, seen in other companies, CEOs, consultants, you name it, is knowing truly intrinsically dedicated to what those actions are, what those tasks are in the business, delegate the rest. Give yourself permission to delegate the rest, or else you keep getting the beautiful lesson, because we're not meant to be, do, or have it all. We're meant to be, do, and have what we value most, what we're inspired by most, and what's our highest priority.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember your dad actually, when he came on to one of our events, and he actually did a talk on how per hour he slices up his day. And you know, we're all trading time for money, right? You know, and at the end of the day, it's like, I remember going to an event once, and this girl stood up and she put her hand up and she said, oh, I've built, you know, they said, oh, what have you been up to this week? And she stood up and she said, oh, I've built my website. And she said, I saved £1,500 by doing it. And I turned around to her afterwards and she was so proud of it. And she said, I said, oh, how long did it take you to do? And she said, oh, about 6 weeks, solidly on it for 6 weeks. And I turned around to her and I said, how much, if you don't mind me asking, how much do you earn per day, you know, on average? You know, and she said something like, you know, £200 a day, you know, just as an example. I can't quite remember the exact amount. So I said, £200 a day, that's £1,000 a week. I said, times 6, that's 6,000 you would have earned had you done your 1,500, you know, when you saved your 1,500, you actually lost £4,500. You know, and when she, you know, and she was like, she was horrified. And I wasn't saying it to, you know, to say no, but it was a case of, you know, we're all trading time for money. And this is what a lot of people make the mistake of. They think that they're doing something to save money, but actually they're losing money, aren't they?
And that's where we get trapped, is there is a bit of a social idealism that, you know, when you're building from the beginning, you're supposed to do it all. And I think that that's a misconstrued, not necessarily the most wise act, is because we all have different sets of values and skills and things we're quite incredible at. So I think that it's empowering not just yourself, but friends, family, and community when you delegate, because you do give opportunity to others. And what's interesting is we will perceive that we're saving and, oh, I'm saving money, just like your beautiful example. We didn't look at what that cost her either, right? Like you calculated that actually cost what you perceived you saved cost. And there's an individual that probably could have done it faster, enjoyed it, and made it more efficient and effective for your service and your objective. So I think that giving ourselves permission to not get trapped in the box or the social idealism that you're supposed to be, do, or have it all in the beginning of the business, whether you're a mom starting out, whether you're a man starting out, whether you're a woman starting out, whatever it is, I think identifying what you're reliable, organically, intrinsically inspired to do and what those tasks are in the business, and delegating the rest, and honoring the fact that that's actually going to be serving the community to do so, rather than beating yourself up thinking that you're supposed to, because it's empowering not only yourself and your self-worth, but others.
Absolutely. So how important do you think it is to network when you're growing a business?
Ooh, I think that networking is one of the key elements. I think that collaboration and connection with like-minded individuals creates a nice manifestation of possibility, because you've got a like-minded individual with a common or similar objective of serving, educating, bringing ideas, resource, retails, whatever it is. I think networking allows for one, it goes back to networking can see who's great at what who you can delegate to, who you can refer to. I think that creates community of collaborators, even if you're doing something similar. Instead of competing, I think networking can actually remove the competition and get to collaborating rather than competing.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, over the years, a lot of people have said, that they don't want to talk because they're competitors. And I always say, it's better to collaborate and work together rather than go against each other, and a lot of people are in this space of, they don't want to collaborate, they're very precious about their own business, when actually, if you come together, you can create a bigger platform, or you can create a bigger, noise about something, or even just take on a bigger project, because how easy is it when you've got a small one-man band business gets on a big contract? Well, they can't necessarily do it on their own, so they bring in another small one-man band to make it a better thing. And a lot of people don't actually think of collaborating, do they?
No. And what's kind of incredible is you get a taste of different perspectives, right? Different strategies, different stories, what's worked, what hasn't worked. And sometimes you kind of have a little bit of an arsenal or a nice toolkit with networking, where you may not have that resource or those experiences or that perspective or that knowledge when you get it in networking. And you get to learn blind spots you may not have seen from those different perspectives. And you kind of people up to something similar. And it's nice to connect with individuals who are dedicated to serving and helping. So there's something in that community piece again, and it can be collaboration. It doesn't have to be competition. And I think with everything also being online, even though it'll go back to the normal, I think that gives us a nice opportunity to still connect, whether it's in person or online, but it does allow us to do it from different places all over the world. So I think networking is kind of a key element to building the business and learning about business, because sometimes you can get exposed to incredible learning just networking.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously I love it. and collaborating as well. That's my next book. I've done master networking. I'm doing master collaborating at the minute. I need to get it finished. I keep saying I'm going to finish it, and you just get so busy doing other things. But yeah. So one last question before we unfortunately finish, because we've had a great time together today. What would you say is the top 3 things that you would advise any person that's maybe looking to set up a business, what they should do to help them grow and to start a business?
Okay. First and foremost, and I know I probably sound like a broken record, but first and foremost is, if you're building a business, first identify your highest values or highest priorities. because I've met incredible entrepreneurs that are the visionaries, they're the idea generators, they're the hands-on creators or coaches or consultants, and they may not be inspired by actual operations, systems, and procedures. So really getting clear on what your values are and what specifically your role in the business is, and confirming, is it inspiring? Am I reliable, disciplined, organized, and focused to get it done? And then build the team. Even if you're just starting, you can have one or two incredible individuals to take off your plate, because the energy of you being in your values and you being in that service is far, far more profound and stronger. And if you have at least one or two just in the beginning to help build that as you go and be able to do the things that you're not inspired to do, great. So I would say learn your values, structure those values, ensure that it's connected to the business, and build the team so that you can get on to the highest priority actions and you don't get stuck on any of the low priority distractions.
Amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. So if anybody wants to get involved with yourselves and the Demartini Institute, how can they reach out to you, Alana? Because I know you've got some incredible courses, you know, and what we talked about today, so many people can learn from yourselves. How can they reach out to you?
So the best way to get a hold of me or to learn about Dr. Demartini or the Demartini Institute, what we're up to, is come into the website. And that's just drdemartini.com, just drdemartini.com. And you'll get to connect with me. You'll get to connect with Dr. Demartini. We're doing programs, live times, webinars every week. We do in the UK time zone. We'll be doing a program together on March 19th, Power Through Your Values, in the UK time zone. But if you'd love to hear what we're up to, or if we can ever be of assistance, you come to the website at drdemartini.com.
Amazing. Well, it's absolutely incredible spending time with you, Alana. I've loved every minute. Thank you so much for dedicating some of your time to be with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I always learn from you so much. And I want you to have a wonderful day. And thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you, Tracy. You are just incredible to spend time with, and I appreciate your questions and your energy. And I really look forward to getting to connect and collaborate with you more and seeing how you serve everything you're up to. So thank you for having me on and taking the time to connect with me today. And look forward to the next time we get to see each other.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, Alana. Love you lots. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you, Tracy.